Welcome. I'm Whitcam. Yeah, that's right. And you're watching As Guys. Yeah. This is the driest like intro I could think of. This is what I did. Oh, well,
Hello.
who we got here?
Hello.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Long time no see.
How are you doing there? So,
I'm good.
my name is Whitcam, and I know you can't really see me, but you can hear me. But in the studio, yeah, we got Davey on, we've got Corey, and we've got Taylor. How are you doing, Taylor?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So yeah, so this is this show where guys just talk about real things that are going on, and what's that sound? It's like shh. What is it going on there?
Oh, that's my heat. You know, radiators in old buildings hiss.
Oh, I didn't. Is there any way to go like on a different area there? If you're able to
It doesn't matter what room I'm in. They all hiss. I can mute myself unless I talk.
All right, let's do that. So we're going to talk about some relationship net worth. So that's what it's all about. You know, what is the net worth you bring to a relationship? And it doesn't have to be like something like marriage or dating. It could be just not in boots. You know what I mean? Just shagging. You know what I mean? But what are you bringing to the table? Now it's interesting because we were watching a few things online. I think we should talk about the six-figure man first. What you say there, Corey?
Yes, we absolutely should.
So tell us a little bit about that show and the six-figure man.
So there's a YouTube channel. The guy's name is Kevin Samuels. He offers relationship advice to his viewers and callers. And on this one particular show, this 35-year-old woman was seeking his advice on obtaining a man who makes six figures or more. And it kind of goes off the rails a little bit, in my opinion. But if you haven't seen the viral video, you can find it on YouTube or WorldStar right now. And he kind of puts into perspective how you acquire a six-figure man and what they're actually looking for. And she did not fit the criteria and had a hard time accepting his advice. And that's when they started clashing, and the video just goes on from there.
All right. Yeah. So it was interesting watching that. Now, the rest of you guys, did you get a chance to check that out?
Yes.
Yeah, and and we might be able to, I don't know, maybe social media we could put a link. But it's interesting. I mean, my takeaway was he was trying to help her. I mean, he was doing it very raw, but she just wouldn't listen. And I think it's a message for everyone out there that thinks highly of yourself, which is great. But you also got to be realistic. You know, I mean, if you Corey, you said it very interesting. It's like you want someone with a Lamborghini or a Mercedes, but then you can't even drive a Hyundai. You know what I mean? And it's not just like the physical, like buying stuff, like it's not that, but it's deeper. It's like you want someone to cook, you want someone to clean, you want, you know, whatever it is, but then you can't bring that same thing back to the relationship. Now, what do you guys think? I mean, is that fair, or is it more like complementing each other, one person not having what the other person has?
I think there's a lot of double standards, and I think men present double standards and don't even realize that they present double standards. I've had a lot of men approach me, and their approach is, I have money, but constantly bash women for only wanting them for money. And it's really weird when that's how you present yourself, like, oh, I get money, oh, I'm gonna spoil you, this and that. But you don't like women who just come to you for money. Like, that's what you're presenting. All your pictures of you holding money, like, I don't If you want a girl who wants you for you, why don't you show some personality? Well, all I'm seeing is you're willing to front a bankroll.
Right, and I feel like that same argument goes both ways. Like when a woman wants a guy who makes a certain amount, and that guy does make a certain amount, but he's a jerk, or he doesn't like they don't mesh with like their personalities or anything else, then there's a problem. I think that's just across the board in like the dating area where we get so caught up in what we want versus what's offered to us and finding a middle ground and working out that relationship that way.
I also think that we don't take into consideration the fact that society pushes women from very young age that your goal in life is to find a man to provide for you. That is the message that society sends out to women. Back in the day, women went to college to get an MRS. Women didn't go to college. You didn't send your daughter to college to graduate. You sent her to college to find a husband.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So when society is telling you, go out there and find a husband that can provide for you. So why shouldn't I aspire to get a six-figure man? If society is telling me, go find a man to provide for you. So I'm going to go do that. Like, society is very double standard. They tell you this your whole life, and then when you go and do it, then you're bashed for doing it. And that goes for a lot of things for women. They're told to do certain things, and when they do them, they're still bashed for them, whether you do it or whether you don't.
Right. That's a very interesting perspective. You see, that's what we have you on the show today, because I wouldn't even look at it from that angle. That's very interesting. What do you think, Davey, on now hearing that from a different way of looking at it? What are you thinking, man?
I don't know. I disagree though. Like, I feel like society has changed. Yes, that used to be the norm, but you still had your outlier. Still had people who went to college and and did their thing outside of the norms. And so it is changing now that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you want to go out there and do something, you absolutely can do it. So in today's climate, I think that narrative has changed. So if you want a six-figure man, you can. It's just what you have to offer that six-figure man to work out a relationship. Because some people don't have the means of obtaining a six-figure man. Like, they don't make six figures themselves. So why would you go after a six-figure man if you don't know how to obtain?
Okay, I understand what you're saying about how society has changed, and I agree, but I think society has changed in its function, but not necessarily in the way it presents itself or the stereotype that it perpetuates. So although most women nowadays work, there's still the common perception of the man is the provider. That's not even how families work anymore.
Right.
It both people have to work. It's survival. It's necessary. But the societal image is still the man as the sole provider.
I don't know. I disagree.
And that makes you a man. Society has a very fragile image of what masculinity is, and one of those key things is being the provider.
But the flip side to that is if you are a woman and you're a high earner in the six figures, like let's say you're CEO, you're vice president of a company, and you're definitely making the six figures, you're already up there in a percentage where there aren't that many people, men or women, in that figure. So when they find a guy not necessarily within that range, but kind of close, they automatically look down on them. And they're like, why can't I find a man that makes just as much or more as me? So like that standard has completely changed. And so now we're being bashed because we aren't up to that level. So it's like, what are we supposed to do now at that level?
I think that is very particular to individual women. Because for me, for example, back in the day when I thought I was going to be a baller shot caller and I was gonna be making all the shmoneys, I wanted my children to have a parent at home, and I didn't want to be that parent. So I was like, I'm gonna get a house husband, and he's gonna stay home. He's gonna go to soccer practice. He's gonna go to ballet. He's gonna go to PTA. He's gonna go to the doctor because I'm gonna be the partner in a law firm, and I'm not gonna have time.
So you pretty much wanted to be the dominant person in the relationship.
Well, I decided that somebody had to raise the kids, and I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom.
So would you date a guy right now who doesn't have a job, who could just be that, like the stay-at-home dad?
No, because I'm not the baller shot caller I thought I was. So it's gonna take two incomes in order to rear children. So before it was an option because I was making adequate money, but now that it would take two incomes, it's no longer an option. It would still be an option if I was a baller shot caller. Like if I was making Carly Beach money, then whatever. But I'm not.
And actually, it's very interesting too. Davion, it's interesting what you just said, and it tells you a little bit, yes, about you, but it's also a society thing there. You said, so basically you want to be the dominant person in the relationship. And just because someone makes the more money doesn't automatically mean that they're going to be the dominant one in the relationship. And in fact, it's interesting, there are many cultures and just many relationships where even the man is working, he makes the primary income, and the woman basically makes all the decisions. So it really depends on what. Oh really?
My mother.
So there you go. So the thing is, I think it's interesting for us as a society, right, to really take a look at dominance, control, money, perception, power, the perception of power. Really got to take a look at that. Now, when we were watching the video, and who's the guy? Samuels, right? What was his name?
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. So watching that is an interesting twist because the young lady in the video, she was making six figures. She's an entrepreneur, but he was like, just because you make this money doesn't mean you should think that highly of yourself. And that was interesting. I'm sure no one's ever said that to her in her life. And he was basically breaking it down like, what do you look like? What do you consider yourself like from 1 to 10? And long story short, it was like she said she was average, and she makes a lot of money, but she feels she has a lot to bring to the table because of her age and her experience. And he was saying, well, the type of men that you're going after, they don't need all that. They don't need your money. They're looking for someone young, firm, no kids, and all that thing. And like I believe she had a 13-year-old.
A 13-year-old child.
Right. So it was interesting to hear him talk, and not that I agree with everything he had to say, but it doesn't even matter. It's like whatever people believe in, that's what it is. Do you guys believe, based on what she presented, that she should re-look at her prospects as far as being in a relationship?
I don't. I don't think so, because like she has a goal. And the one thing that he failed to mention is she is 35 and she does have a 13-year-old son. The older you get, whether you're a guy or a girl, it is harder to find someone to build a family with because the pickings become slim. That's just reality. Like the older you get, the harder it is to find someone to like without kids or without a family, and especially even harder to find someone 35 makes six figures without a kid to start a family with. It just, the more you get up in age, the harder it becomes to find that criteria that she was looking for.
I find it maddening, the double standard that men hold for women with children when they run around with like 6 different baby mothers.
Exactly.
It is okay, so the mother who takes care of her one child, there's not even any bullshit with the baby daddy because he's just not there. But you're not going to raise a child that's not your own, but you got 6 kids. And men that say, my kids have a mother, you don't need to be a mother to my children, are horrible parents.
Right.
Because the woman you are with should definitely be a parent to your child. She may not have equal weight in a decision as mom. You know what I'm saying? There's boundaries. But to say you're not a parent or don't mind them, it's not your responsibility, is no. Yes, it is. If I care about you, I should be caring about your children.
I agree with you to a point.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to be a parent. I do think they have to be an authoritarian figure. Like, you do have to respect someone older than you. Like, have the whole respect.
Or respect the relationship that individual has with whoever your father or mother is.
Exactly.
But
just like his
at
boundaries.
the same time, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
You can't replace.
Nobody said replace.
We know that, but in the back of the child's mind, it's more of a replacement.
No,
Maybe
it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, first of all, we're going down a rabbit hole here, you know, because that's a whole nother conversation, really.
Yeah, that is another conversation for another time.
Yeah, it's right now we're not talking about the kids. We're talking about, which is important, yes, but we're talking about individuals, their net worth, they think in their mind to bring to a relationship, whether it's reality or not. You know, is it possible that we are training young women and young men to think that they are bringing more to the table than what they actually are? Now, mind you, we want people to have good self-respect and all that and believe in yourself, but is there a line where it just goes too far, where people think too hardly of themselves?
Okay, so he said that men who make six figures want young, firm women with no kids.
Right.
Young, firm women with no kids have no money. Hi.
Well, not really.
So you're telling me don't be attracted to what I don't have. Okay, cool, but you can't want me. You can't say I want you, but you can't be you can't be mad at me if a come up wants me. I'm if you want to buy me a Birkin, I'm supposed to say no. Why?
Well, the thing is, right? It's like, I mean, the elephant in the room is basically sex, right? And at the end of the day, what he's basically saying in a very odd way was, listen, if you look good and you are young, you will get whatever you want. You know what I mean? These men are basically looking for looks and someone to have their babies. And sometimes it's not even the babies. It's just like they just want to have a relationship with young, pretty things. That's it. So,
but you don't see the contradiction there?
Oh no, definitely. But you know what? I think it's also weird, and it really backs up a lot of what you were saying, Taylor, with society, because it's like, let's just keep it real. If you go to a fast food place and there's a really good-looking girl working on fries, again, I know we're talking about heterosexual relationships, so it makes it easier, you know, old school. But, you know, if a guy sees a woman on fries, he's like, hey, she's kind of cute on those fries. Let me see. Hey. I want to get to know, hey, how you doing? All right. Now, if there's a woman sees a guy on fries, it's like, oh, he's so cute, yeah, but he's working on fries, and that's it. So it's different. Like men aren't really going after women with money. Yes, there are gigolos out there, but we don't really care. As long as you look good. I mean, and that's the starting point. Yes, it's emotions and, you know, bonding and all that. At least that's what he's saying. Do you guys disagree?
I totally disagree.
I disagree.
Tell me why.
Because although I would love a Birkin, I know the chances of a Birkin are not really that high. You know, I'm more realistic. You know, I'll be happy with a nigga that buys me coats.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth
there. You know, sometimes as kids watch these shows and we say, hey, don't you be watching these shows. But just in case, we've got to be careful.
I just, like, not every woman wants that. And then some women are more realistic about the realities of life and where they are. And also, you have to take into consideration the internet and the glorification of brands and this deep-rooted issue within especially the Black community of having to acquire things of a certain value in order to confirm to others that you as a person holds a certain value.
Well, you know what? I was waiting this, and I was playing a little bit of advocate on it, but you know what? The thing that I was really disappointed with that host, that he's supposed to be so wise and seems like he's at least trying to present himself. Who knows if he's educated? You know what I mean? But the problem with it, I find, is that we're talking really about treating people like objects, because that is a reality. You have a lot of sports players, musicians, engineers, lawyers, doctors, whoever has a certain amount of money, people in construction. It doesn't really matter how they get it. It could be a drug dealer. It doesn't really matter. But I'll make a bunch of money. No, they get paper. They got that bag, man. But as long as they got the bag, they're going to go after pretty chicks. And they feel that they earn the right to do that. But, when you're just looking at someone because they're pretty, they're an object. And there's tons of women out there that do not mind being an object. But let's be real. There's a lot of women out there that do not mind being an object. So this gets really confusing from a male perspective, because it's like, all right, if I make a lot of money, if I have a lot of money, I get all the girls on Instagram. I get all the girls in the music videos. I get all the women in Fashion Week. I get all the women in the movies. I have access to that because I have acquired a certain amount of financial success. And they are more than willing to be a part of that. Not all of them, but many. Enough to make it a standard. Enough to make it part of the culture. But then at the same time, don't treat me like an object. Don't treat me like, and it's like, women, you got to lead the way, man. You got to lead the way. Because it's confused. I mean, do you see the contradiction, or is it just me?
It's not a confusion, because I've had men flash money at me, and it's such a turnoff that they never heard from me again. So that's why they're not coming across me.
But you're not the standard, though. But you're not the standard.
No. Because I felt like an object. I was like, so you're trying to buy me? Like, you think, I don't need your money. I make my own money. So what else do you bring to the table besides money?
But you do understand that you are not the norm.
You're speaking on a standard for a gender that you're not of.
No. I hear what you're saying. But the reality is, there's so many men out there. Let's look at it, right? And not to say that every basketball wife is a floozy. Not every, country singer that has a bunch of money. Everybody that they're with is like going after them for money. But the reality is, men with a certain amount of price tag going along with their lifestyle, these men are not alone.
I think.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, we could name. So, I don't want to shame certain people in the entertainment business. White, black, Puerto Rican. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of men out there that are not attractive at all.
Right. But you got to look at what they're also building. If you have a guy who's just wanting to build his success and then that's it and find arm candy, yes, you do have those people. But you also have people who want to build something, find someone to build with, they build them up, and that only increases both lives. So I think we do have to get back into that as like a society and as well as a couple. If you find someone that you feel as though could help you obtain whatever goal you're trying to obtain, then what's wrong with that? I think that's what we need to get back to, and I think that's really what should be said, and not just, I make this amount, this person should make this amount. Why not help that person make that amount? Exactly. It's not simple.
I think we also don't take into account that as a society, we don't give women very many options to make the amount of money that men make. Women make less money on the dollar for the same job that men make. So the amount of men that make a lot of money, for you to use as an example, is a huge, immensely larger than the amount of women who make a large amount of money, who you can make, those assumptions about. Because even women who have a lot of money, a lot of those women find it hard to date somebody, because these men are so used to only the type of women who are interested in the money. So they're willing to put up with bullshit because they're only there for the money. But when you get a real woman who's not there for the money and she wants a personality and a healthy communicative relationship, she's not going to deal with the bullshit. So she walks away. So she's not holding on to all these dysfunctional men who are just there for her money, because she's not interested in that. She's not looking for arm candy. She's looking for a relationship. That's why you find that women with a lot of money oftentimes are single. Because the men with money want arm candy, and the men without money only want money.
Okay, so we looking at women like Oprah Winfrey, Wendy Williams now after her divorce with her husband. Who else?
Halle Berry. You're looking at Britney Spears.
No, Halle Berry's still married, right?
But how many times has Halle Berry been married and divorced because her husband is cheating on her and doing all this type of stuff? Yeah, Halle Berry is the most beautiful, wealthy woman ever.
But doesn't that come down to the character of men that she's dating? Just like a guy can say, oh, the character of woman that you're dating is only after your money, and then of course she's not going to provide any substance to your life. So I think that kind of goes first.
But what I'm saying is, men are more willing to deal with that because they're just interested in the arm candy, and it's kind of like, okay, I know what this exchange is about. Whereas women are not interested in arm candy; they're interested in a healthy communicative relationship. So when you do that kind of stuff, they move on. So they're more likely to be single, not seen with all these, attractive men.
I think that's just
men is seen with an abundance of women.
That's a broad generalization against men that I don't agree with for that point, because there are a lot of men who actually look for substance. Like a lot of people who are probably in the top 10% who want to find someone to build something with and not just arm candy.
But I'm talking about the ones who want. I'm not talking about the ones that you're talking about. I'm talking about the ones that Michael was talking about, who are just there for the arm candy, and they make a lot of money, and they feel like because they make a lot of money, they're obligated to attractive women.
Well, that was the whole issue that we were talking about with this video. That's what the guy kind of zoned in on, and that's what I disagree with. Like, if you're going to be, because he's supposed to be a relationship advice, and that's what he keyed in on with this woman who's 35, who kind of wanted a guy who makes six figures, because she made six figures herself, and she said that she was dating down and she wanted to date up, and instead of correcting that sentiment, he just went in a whole different direction. That's how we got on this topic about guys with six figures only want one type of thing. It was a very broad generalization on his part, which I disagree with. But instead of like saying you should find someone with substance and build them up, like the correct, I think, relationship advice he should have been giving, it kind of went in a completely different direction.
Actually, you just brought up a really good point there too, because one of the reasons why we even got inspired to use this, right, as a thing for this show, was because of that statement, where it's not like saying I'm at this this is what I'm doing, and I want someone doing on the level of what I'm doing. That does have its merits in many different ways, right? But the problem is she looked at it as dating down, and it's interesting. If I was to piggyback on what Taylor was saying, just imagine if these men had that same mentality, where no, if you're not making what I'm making, that would be me dating down. I mean, it would be very interesting if people adopted that mentality. I mean, it would interesting, because it would totally change the game. Because there are tons of women that are entrepreneurs. There are more female entrepreneurs in today's society than there's been for like ever, and actually there are more female millionaires and even billionaires than ever before. and it keeps
Because
growing
I
and
will pay
doubling.
myself a good wage.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We had so many different topics for this episode, but this is a big thing because we didn't even get into like, and I think we should do that now before we leave. Even though it's been interesting. It's been like 30 minutes already, but I mean, let's talk about what are people bringing in mentally, emotionally. How come that never really comes into the conversation of net worth? I mean, we usually go in to quickly say, what objects does someone have? How much fame does someone have? How much money does someone have? Why do we do
And
that?
that's what I think part of it is the way society has put us, or that image where men lust for women and video vixens, and besides actually getting a learning experience from a female and actually going on dates and getting a clear understanding of who she really is. Same thing as women. There's moments where I guess some women, and not all, tend to go by looks, money, and never really go by what's in his mind, what he is emotionally, because they're more focused on, oh, I gotta have me a gangster or a thug or that. Like, look at who was it? Destiny's Child. When they had confused men twice, you need a soldier. Then you need. Oh, it was another song they did. I forgot the name of the song.
What's the confusion?
There's really no confusion, man.
What's
Also,
the confusion?
you really can't even go into that because remember they're trying to remember Destiny's Child was a pop group. They were not an R&B group, so they were also trying to see, we have to like dirty ourselves up a little bit. We got a lot of appeal to like the hip hop. What's it called? Hip hop? What do you call it?
Yeah, hip hop
music. Yeah. Well, we've got grime where I'm from, so you know what I mean. So so they're like trying to appeal to other people, but I don't know. Don't let me talk about Destiny's Child, and don't you even go to the B word because it's like a whole nother conversation. And
Beyonce and her alright now.
oh no, why you had to say the name? Why you did it, man?
But I feel as though we're talking about the differences of generations in society. I think right now we are still trying to find our identity as a society because we're very individualistic, but we're also trying to look out for everyone else, that we haven't really found the tools to repair the hurt and trauma of the past. And so before we even do that, if we can't heal ourselves, how are we supposed to build healthy, functional relationships? So I think that's one of the objectives as a society we have to figure out before we all come together.
We're not trying to figure it out. Like, we're not in this. I personally don't think we're in this limbo. There's just two different sides. There's just a side that believes that like there's an issue, and there's a side that believes there's not an issue.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We need to find ourselves, because a lot of people, if there was no issue, we wouldn't be having the highest divorce rate that we've ever seen. Like, people would be more functional finding things out, because now we're all like, you don't have to take this. And
the divorce issue is a little. I wouldn't use that as an example. Because
what's the difference between divorce and just finding a healthy relationship? If we can't work things out in a relationship, how are we going to work it out in a marriage?
Because I think back in the day, divorce wasn't an option, and you stayed in a relationship even if it wasn't working. Even if he beat you half to death, you shut your mouth, you kept it to yourself, and you stayed in that relationship because divorce was not an option.
Right.
There are a lot of shit that women back in the day put up with that women now do not. Second family, kids, with the neighbor, with the sister, with the
Right. I'm not saying all that, but that's still trauma that I'm talking about healing, because men would get up and leave. If I wanted to just leave my wife, I would get up and go. But if they found out that I had like 3 wives in different states, that could have gone either way. Like, oh yeah, you're a man's man, or you're a horrible person. Even back in those days, it wasn't as big of a thing as it is now. But depending on where you were in society, it could have been a good or bad thing. So now, if we're talking about today's society, where you have to be, like you said, both of you guys have to work, you both have to earn a certain amount of income to be even considered as a good person. I think there's a lot of hurt and trauma from past relationships that we take into
wait. The money and the good person.
Yeah.
Really? Where did that come from?
A lot of places. Like, so if you want to make like the top 10 figure, be in the top 10%, you can't be a nice person. That's like the majority thing. You're going to be like a Jeff Bezos and only think about yourself. That's the kind of norm that you have to expect being with certain people like that, right? That's the general.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant something different.
No. That's what I'm trying to say. So if we want to fix this across the board, no matter how much you make, no matter who you are, you still have to be a decent human being and a good person in a relationship. That's what I'm trying to basically say.
And you know what? To be fair, too, let's think about it, right? When you look at successful, let's just use the word successful, right? You know, it's like when we think of success, there's things that automatically come in your mind. But I say financially successful,
or wealthy.
I don't want to paint the picture that these individuals, specifically men, right? We're talking about like heterosexual men. They get that status, whatever that is, and they're running after all these pretty young things. I don't think it always stops there. I mean, if you're intelligent, you're not going to stop there and like, oh, she's pretty, and that's it. There are men that do that, right? But I think the point is what Mr. Samuels was trying to say was that you wouldn't even get in the door if you didn't look good. You wouldn't even get in the door if certain things were together. I think after that, because I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but there's a relationship where this guy's like super successful, super rich. Someone was telling me about the other day, and the young lady, she's attractive. There's like a 20-30 year, almost like a 30-year gap between the two, and I get it, but the reality is she wouldn't even gotten in the door if she didn't look good, and the guy's okay, but if he wasn't filthy rich, she wouldn't even it wouldn't even been a thing. So I think that like, without any shaming, I just wish as a society we just keep it real. Hey, at the end of the day, you wouldn't even go on a shot if you were rich. And I think at the end of the day, you wouldn't even go on a shot if you weren't pretty. And the fact that we dance around this and pretend that doesn't exist and that's not real, I think is really says a lot about us as people. Now, over time, I'm sure they really love each other now. I mean, you hang out with anybody long enough, you start getting feelings. I mean, you see it in reality shows. People go away for a month, and then all of a sudden they're in love because they got cameras and they get that joint experience. So, yeah, I don't think it's all fake and it doesn't become real. But why can't we be honest?
Well, why can't we be honest that he wouldn't have gotten through the door if he didn't have no money?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
That's what.
No, I agree with you.
It's a mutual exchange. I don't know why we can't just be honest that it's a mutual exchange. Like, I'm here because you're rich, and you want me here because I'm pretty. That.
You know what it is? I think it's because and I agree with you 100%. I think the thing is because it's dark, because it's evil, it's negative, it's dark, and it's reality, and people don't want to face reality. They don't.
It's picturesque society.
Yeah, because if we did, I mean, it was like, well, damn it, they have to look in that mirror. Am I whack for just going after this pretty young thing just because he's pretty? And then
it's 50 Shades of Grey, but he just happens to be older.
And then at the same time, she would have to look in the mirror like, all right, I'm objectifying myself. He's not doing it. You're doing it to yourself because you know. And then it's like, all right, well, he's a nice guy and he's caring and he's funny. Yeah. To make yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, you're going after that greenback.
Yeah, but it sucks. Like if that woman had no skills other than looking pretty, everyone would say, "Oh, she makes a good housewife." But if a guy had no skills, he's a bum. And that's
That's
still
true.
like
Yeah.
perpetuates in society today. Why can't we have people with skills or like teach them something?
Okay, but
Build
most of
them.
the time, let's be real about the dude who doesn't have a job. He's not at home cleaning the house and make sure the dishes are washed and taking care of the kids. For the most part, that dude is playing the PlayStation for 12 hours and she comes home and he's still on the fucking PlayStation he was on when she left for her shift.
But that's not true.
Those are the women. Like those are the men. Like if I'm going to work every day and you're taking care of everything at home like a housewife, as a woman, I know that that's a full-time job. I know that that's a real job. So if you're actually taking that on fully, you're no bum. That's a fucking $75,000 a year job. You're a nurse, you're a chauffeur, you're a teacher, you're a cook, you're a maid. As a woman, I can respect that because I've done it, So no, it's the dude who sits on the couch and plays the PlayStation for 12 hours. With no job. That's the bum.
But the dude who sits on the couch can cook and clean, and the woman who goes out to work and come home doesn't cook and doesn't clean. So those roles have absolutely reversed. But most women right now don't want that dude. Like you said you wanted that dude, but you said you changed because now you need that guy to work. So instead of helping that guy find a job and building him up to what you need him to be, he's just looked down upon and passed over.
I'm not looking down upon him. What I'm saying is we can no longer. But you use me as examples.
Yeah. So I use you as an example, but that's still the rumor. I said you don't have to look down on that guy, but I said generally everyone is looking down on that guy. You said you changed because now you need that guy to work.
But you're getting mad at women for something that society teaches them. Society teaches that men cannot stay at home. That's not an option. It's not even a house dad. Even if you are a full-time dad doing all the stuff in the world, even if your wife respects you for what you're doing, society looks down on you. That's not necessarily, and it's not even just women. Other men look down upon you. Sometimes I think when men have an issue, they say, "Oh, women look down upon me," but they don't deal with the toxic masculinity within other men. They don't address how other men are also not helping the issue.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to blame society. We have to blame society for this.
I did.
It's a taught metric we need to change in how we teach our children. There are certain stereotypes that we have to change in what we present to kids.
All right, kiddies. You know what that music means? That means I got to ask you a question.
Ooh.
All right, there. So, what food best describes your love-making style? Yeah. You got to think about that. Yeah.
There is no food.
Oh, wow. Wind pies.
I know.
What you got?
I got one. A juicy steak, because when it's done well, people really appreciate it.
Nice. That's not. I like what you did there. You gave room for you could change it up and there. Oh, I see where you're going with it.
I would say a pastrami and cheese sandwich. Well done by a actual mom and pop like a Cooper's or what you have over there, a hobby, Deli Salentre over in New York. I forgot one of the names. But like one of those tall, real well done pastrami with the American cheese, and it's just so juicy.
So it's a work of art. I got you.
That's I like where you're going, Taylor. What you got? You got to get something. Come on, think about it.
I hate pastrami.
You don't eat meat.
Pastrami broski. Okay, but anyway, a patty pie.
What?
Everybody wants it. It's hard to get, and it's worth the wait.
What?
A patty pie, because everybody wants it. It's hard to get, and it's worth the wait.
A patty pie. What's a patty pie?
You're not even on it. See, you don't even know.
I gotta look up what's a patty pie.
See?
Y'all don't know what a patty. Thanksgiving just passed, and y'all don't know what a patty pie is. Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Patty pie.
Gotcha. Patty's Good Life Sweet Potato Pie. I didn't know they call it patty pies.
Yeah, I just say sweet potato pie. Like, what the heck?
No, because it has to be the patty pie.
It's specific.
It can't be your rap auntie dance pie.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was really great. I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't either.
Yeah, that was cool.
See,
That was really cool. A lot we did in there. That was
I've never had a pie. I gotta find one.
I had a sweet potato pie from different people, but I never
It's not
had
the same.
LaBelle sweet potato
It's
pie.
not the same. You gotta get a patty pie. Patty pies are the top.
Alright, what's the next question?
No, yeah. No, I mean, I that's pretty much it, man. She got me with the patty pie. I can't even go back there. But so what do we? So if we were going to wrap it up, when it comes to six-figure men and people going after people for how much they make, what words of wisdom or what's our takeaway from this conversation? What you guys thinking there?
I think
Make sure.
Go ahead, ladies.
Make
first.
sure that what you say you want is what you actually want. Because you can't say you want a woman that brings an equal to the table, but then go after skinny, pretty young bimbos who don't have anything.
I agree with that. If you want something, go get it. If it's not there, build it up.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, build it, man. Build it, and the happiness will come. Yeah.
Secure the bag, sis, by any means necessary.
What they said.
Oh, come on, man. Don't even
got
go with
that.
that. You gotta have something. Okay, come on, man.
Alright, you really want to hear what I got to say?
Yeah, even the cat had something to say. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. The cat even say something. Alright, I'm going to say it like this. Everybody has a lust for things, and everybody loves certain things. Just make sure what you love is not a lust.
Make sure it's a need and not a want.
What they said.
All right, a need, but not a want. I don't even know how that's relevant, really. I don't even know. Wait, say, I'm confused.
Do you need a woman who looks good and is arm candy, or do you want a woman that looks good and arm candy?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
Do you actually need a woman with business smarts that can help you take your business to the next level, and you go from a millionaire to a billionaire? That might be what you need, but you too busy going after what you want, and that's them little skinny things that can't do nothing for you.
Well, why they gotta be skinny?
They could be BBW. They could be luscious.
Let's be real about this society and its non-value of plus-size women. Let's be real.
Thick women are making a comeback because thick with C's, everyone's enjoying that right now. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You enjoy it, but would you walk down the street with it? Because if you look in the South, the biggest category searched on the hub is ebony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's them. Those men. That's not what they claim.
I mean, it's still the South. The South still deals with slavery and stuff, so we can go. That's a whole other conversation.
What I'm saying is, people say one thing and do another. Is what I'm saying.
back to the whole want need thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so my takeaway is we really, as a society, right, we really got to start looking at what we've been brainwashed to like, brainwashed to think we need, and we got to break away from that because it's hurting ourselves. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, and all these things talking about money. It's besides survival, yes, yeah, we all got to survive. We got to pay the bills, but it gets to a certain level where we are just we're really treating each other as objects, and we're being parasites on other people's success and their sweat and their work, and it's not right, man. It's not right. And you know, it's like we always talk about, like, well, how can we make things better? And all the little problems coming out is a manifestation of us not respecting one another and ourselves. And there's so many other topics we need to talk about that really branch off of that, like all these little like OnlyFans and all these other things, which I think we really need to do a show about that, because I got some interesting views where we're going. But anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. I think it's great, and I hope people get to walk away with something. All right, what's your social media there, guys? What is it?
Davion Bussy on Instagram.
My name is Corey Davis. You can find me on all the things at IamGT3.
And I'm Taylor. You can find me at Chuck_Tay.
Oh, does the cat have social media too?
No,
Meow.com.
I should probably make her OnlyFans.
Ooh, the kitty. Meow Kitty 123.
And you know what it is? If she starts making money, you know what I'm gonna do? I had to like, hey, kitty. Yeah.
Listen,
That catnip.
You never know.
somebody
Man.
told me they made $150 off a foot pic, so I'm thinking about it.
I see where you're going with it. All right, so yeah, we're gonna zoom out here.
OnlyFans subscription link coming soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an OnlyFans and only do recipes. Like, if you want this banging recipe on how to make a juicy, succulent steak.
OnlyFans literally could be anything. It's just a lot of people use it for one specific thing, but actually they might pay you just to do recipes to stop the association with other things.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sign up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I could just go be like, who wants me to eat this pastrami and cheese sandwich?
And at that note,
that's definitely a kink.
you're watching you're watching Ask Guys. I'm Go Whitcam. Go to my IG or Go Whitcam. And good night, y'all. Let me put some more music over there. Yeah, see, we got
No one's gonna take me seriously. Like, yo, I'm a chef. Check out my OnlyFans. Like,
Exactly.
They're like, it's a trap.
Maybe.
What type of chef?